Cloning crackheads, today I got a new one for you. I've got an update to the SPIN2WIN Tariq build, and my guy has the spirit. I unfortunately, though, don't have the gear. So, this is going to be a build in installments. People have asked me for my Tariq talents, my Tariq build, and how I'm playing him immediately after all the patch and whatnot. I just got him to Eternal. I absolutely love this character. He's absolutely awesome. So I'm going to fully flesh this build out and invest as much as I can into him. He's probably going to be one of my main DPSs for probably the whole season. And I'm going to do it with most likely this build, the SPIN2WIN one that I'm working on currently. But my gear is so fucking bad that I'm going to do an update on this, and even then I'm still doing around 150k in burst windows at the moment, if not more, just basically spinning on things. My goal is to perma-spin eventually, if I can hit the dream, but there's a lot of things that are currently broken and a little out of whack. So, I want to put this out there for those of you who are curious right now, and then I will refine it once I have the gear and the stuff that's dropped. I need to play more Eternals, which means I need to find tanks and get people together and healers, and it's a pain in the ass. There's no solo queue, right? So, it takes a second to really get the top-end gear, but people keep wanting something and a showcase and whatnot, so I figure I might as well put out an early one and just give you a little bit of a warning beforehand, and we can go from there. So, with this, I have gemmed my boy for full spirit, which makes it so my ulti gets another, I get a 24% increased main stat, and even longer ulti. It lasts another 6 seconds. And at the top, you can make it last 18 seconds, which is just absolutely disgusting. Although I believe the spirit is the buff afterwards, I think. I don't entirely remember. But my guy gets such a fucking long burst window. It is absurdly, absurdly strong. So, my goal is to get as much spirit as possible, because this allows me to get refunds on my Fury when I'm cycloning here. So, the goal is to get as much rage as possible, get as much reduction off of my Hammer Storm, and then use Kill 'Em All to get mega, mega damage. So, in the previous build guides, I covered the basics of this, but I'll give you a bit of a more in-depth rundown of what I'm doing and why. So, the first talent point here we're taking is 50% increased attack speed. This will make the swing timer go faster, because if you don't, it just plays way too slow for me. It also scales based off haste, so when you pop your ulti and you get haste, it goes even quicker. Or if you get Dark Prof and haste stacks and all that sort of stuff, it goes even faster, which is really, really fun. Absolutely love that. But yeah, that's so that I can get Far Beyond Driven stacks, which each time you use Heavy Strike, you gain Far Beyond Driven for 20 seconds, increasing your spirit by 2% up to 5 times. It gives you 10% spirit by using Heavy Strike, which you're doing naturally, because that's just how the character works. So 10% spirit flat for free, which is absolutely beautiful. Then we run all three in Tier 2 here. I haven't decided if running this is worth it. It might be. I know it's really good for the Chain Lightning build, but I'm trying to avoid all the meta slave stuff because I know it's going to get nerfed at some point, because it already has, and they bitched about it, and then my build got buffed, so, you know, works out in the end. So, as a result, I'm running Bloodline here. You generate 1 Fury every second. You no longer lose Fury while out of combat. The reason for this is when I'm spinning down from the top of my bar, I'm generating Fury by 1 Fury every 1 second as I'm generating down this way. I'm building back up at the same time, coupled with my spirit refunds, and I'm just getting more and more and more and more. And then you also start most fights at max Fury, which is really, really nice for your opening burst to allow you to just go absolutely fucking crazy. Then I'm messing around with if High Road is useful. If I get the higher keys, I think I would take this node out and do Magic Ward if I'm getting fucked up from magic stuff. Or maybe this node here for healing and damage reduction while Thunder Call's up. Or maybe this one. It depends. But those are really the only other options I have, unless I take Bloodline out. I maybe do this, or this, or this. But this is what I'm working with right now, and it's working at the moment. This just gives my Leap Slam 20% increased crit strike. And then Ride the Lightning is the big one, because Thunder Call will generate 60 Fury over its duration. Now you get 2 Thunder Calls with this character. You get your initial ulti Thunder Call, which gives you 60 Fury, which this makes your ulti give you Fury, because it didn't originally. And then your normal Thunder Call as well will then give you another 60 Fury on top of that, which it didn't to begin with, so this node is basically mandatory. Then we've got Kill 'Em All. Your Hammer Storm now spins 3 times per use for the same Fury cost. I need to make sure I remove my chat cover real fast, so I'm not blocking anything when I start showing off some other stuff a little deeper here. And this will make it so that you spin 3 times for the same Fury cost, but each spin deals more damage. Now this is a double win in our case, because the same Fury cost means that I'm going to get a even bigger Spirit refund. Because it costs more, which means when the Spirit refund refunds, I get the whole thing back, right? Win-win. But each spin deals more damage, which is great. And on top of that, more is a multiplier. So you want to get as much additive in the first place, and then you want to more multiply on top of it. Same thing as action RPGs. That's how you get crazy damage in games like these. So that is the T for Tariq right here that we've got going on. That is the way we get some crazy DPS. Then we've got Mouth for War. This is one of our very important nodes. Your Leap Smash ability deals, when it deals damage, you're granted 1 charge of Focused Wrath. Focused Wrath reduces your Hammer Storm Fury cost by 50% for 2 Hammer Storms. And then Spit It Out gives you crit power for more flat damage across the board. And Crack the Sky makes your lightning damage have increased critical strike chance. And why this is useful is when you're spinning with your Thunder Calls up, you're doing lightning strikes on anything you're hitting with your Hammer Storm at any point. Which means you're getting extra crit chance on those as well without having to invest in crit at all. Now, Schism is potentially good. They buffed this to 250%, but it doesn't actually show in the tooltip. I haven't tried it yet, haven't really messed around with it. Could be crazy. Some people were saying that they're doing like giga crits with it and whatnot. I don't know. I haven't really tried it. I'll get back to you on it at some point. So, gems. In this case, like I said, I went full Spirit because I wanted as much refunds as possible. Then 120 over here for primary stat while above health. And then extra little stats here. You can also grab the 1 node for Sealed Fate, because this is just really, really good for 120. And then otherwise, I would go all the way up to here to just turbo pop off. And then for the rest of my gear is absolutely fucking abysmal. I'm not gonna lie, this is terrible. But stat prio is Spirit, Haste, and then like crit expertise or like mid. I think I would go expertise primary just for flat damage percent, and then just crit wherever you get it. But yeah, Spirit, Haste are the primary stats for sure. So when it comes to rotation, what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna generate 5 of my Far Beyond Driven stacks to simulate what'll happen when I actually have my ulti. And then I will show you the opener / what you can do with the build. So, in this case, what I'm going to do is I am going to ult first, and then use my Leap Slam, my Mouth for War, and then Faded immediately afterwards, and go from there. And then I just spam my spin as much as humanly possible. So, let's go. Then I refill my rage in like 3 hits. Just quickly refill again. Spin down again. Then ulti ends. Go in the normal Thunder Call. Spin down again. Quickly refill again. Hit all my refunds. Spin down again. And that's your burst window. That is 3.19 mil in 242 eye level. In a 40-second burst window with ulti. Now, if you want to be perfectly optimal, you can do Thunder Call first, ulti, and then use this afterwards, and then you can get like a mega window, which looks even crazier. So, I did a guide, by the way, on the swing timer, if you're curious, if you're struggling with it, for what to do. But what you want to do in a real quick rendition of it is just try and fill it with as much like small stuff as you can. Like you see me doing multiple of these. Leap Slam is also off of global cooldown, so you can use Leap Slam in like a combo with Heavy Strike or with Wild Strike there. You can sometimes do, if I could have this miss on our boy here. There we go. You can do something like that, where it's a Wild Strike, clip into Face Breaker, because that's off CCD as well, and then use a Heavy Strike afterwards to be able to get crazy results, just like so. So let's do the other option, just to show you it. Which is where you start like this. And then once our Thunder Call 1 ends, we use Thunder Call 2. The real one this time. I think our boy has a little bit of a burst window. And then we use Thunder Call 2, or 3, sorry. And our boy has a bit of a burst window. And just like that, he has an extended burst window that does not quite that much more, but does last a little bit longer. I prefer to do it faster and just use the all the big stuff together, because I like seeing bigger DPS numbers. So I use everything all at the same time rather than going for maximum cooldown value. But you can do it either way depending on how the key pull is going. But yeah, that is my early SPIN2WIN Eternal Tariq build. Like I said, my gear is ass. My weapon skill tree is fucking abysmally garbage. All of this is terrible. I would throw this all out if I could. I genuinely don't have anything better. And for the rest of my gear, same thing. It's all fucking trash, just cobbled together. But yeah, loving it so far. Buffs are great. My guy absolutely fucks, and I'm going to gear the shit out of him. Let me know what builds you guys are playing down below, and how you're enjoying the buffs and or nerfs if you were a meta slave. Take care, fellas.